Hello, I hope everyone is well. My name is Abby and welcome back to my channel if you are new here. I wanted to do a Variegated Monstera update. I have been through quite the journey with one of them, and then the other one has caused me no problems whatsoever. So we will start with the plants and the state that we're in now. So this is my problem one. This is the as beautiful as it is, nice big leaf there. This leaf was starting to brown, and this is the leaf that sold the whole plant to me. I absolutely loved it, but it started to brown, and here is why. When I first got them, I put them in my bedroom into a shaded area, just so the transition from being in a box for 4 days to being in my home wasn't too shocking on it. So it was in a really dappled, like lighted area, and it wasn't getting much indirect light whatsoever. And it was there for a week, and at this point I had to repot them because the soil was all out of the nursery pot. The roots were so root bound, they were like screaming, and I didn't want to kind of like mess with it and just like sort it out and fix it and then put them to the side for a week, 2 weeks or whenever, and then be forced to have to repot them. So I just took the chance and I just did it, and that was fine. That I had no problems with that. But I think I worked myself up about the plants because they're not rare, they are not really highly sought after anymore because they're really easily accessible. Like, they're quite decently priced from this particular seller anyway. But just because of the faff with them, everyone's like, oh, Variegated Monsteras, I was treating them really differently. I was treating the care extremely differently. I started like bottom watering them. I never do that. I mean, no, I don't do that. Like, it's just not what I do, and my other plants are fine. And I was bottom watering them. I was just being so like faffy and pathetic over them, and I was just like, get yourself together, woman. So I basically, first time I watered them, I bottled watered them, and then I chose to put them like near this bookshelf, which is about 15 foot away from the window. So it's not getting bright light. Like, it is bright, but it's not like adequate enough for them, if that makes sense. So I started getting browning on the leaf, and I was really panicking because I was just like, it went from looking like the perfect leaf one day, and then overnight it was literally brown. So it was spreading. I was controlling it by kind of like bringing it closer to the light, thinking that would help. It was just spreading. So I'd made a decision in cutting it off, and as you can see, it's not exactly the prettiest leaf, but it doesn't, if that was a full leaf and that was a brown spot, that would bother me more than that. So I just cut it. Didn't do a very good job at that, but I don't know, it's better for me. It doesn't freak me out and stress me out every time I see it anymore. But I realized the position where I had them, they weren't getting like any like decent like amount of light. So I did bring them like to this point on the ottoman where it is close to the window and it's getting non-direct harsh light. It was getting direct light from 5:30 to 6:30, which is fine. So I was doing that, and then I noticed the leaves on the other Monstera and this one, they were curling up, and like they were clearly not happy. They were like just like really curling. And I asked people on Facebook groups, everyone was saying your plants are root rotting. And I was just like, oh my God. And I just didn't have any faith in myself because obviously I was bottom watering them. So everyone's like, you just need to check your roots. And just everyone just kept saying, check your roots. So I checked the roots, and I was just like freaking out about like touching the roots. But it was like 10 o'clock at night that I noticed it, and I couldn't just stop thinking about it. So I got like, it was really dark in here, so I got like torches, and I was just like getting it out the pot and checking the roots. The roots, where I had bottom watered it, like the bottom of the soil was like wet, like moist, not like bad or anything. It was just like as you would expect. But the roots weren't that deep to actually touch that bit. So I was actually not watering the plants at all. The water was going to the bottom layer of soil, but it wasn't touching the roots, and the roots were dry. And I was just like, well, there's my problem. So the curling, it definitely came from that, because I watered it like a normal person, and like top water it just like I do all my other plants. So I don't know why I did this, but whatever. And literally overnight the leaves were just like flat again. They were like back to normal. So I think there was a mixture of low light, bright but not light enough light, and really shitty watering. So since the plants are looking so much happier, like so much happier, I've actually split them up, which like I said, they were on here, and I know you shouldn't move your plants around too much, but I do it all the time and I never have problems with it, so I'm just gonna keep doing it. But they were here, and it was just too like aesthetically, like for me, just too cluttered, and like my husband was like watching the TV like this, and it wasn't working. So I'll insert some footage as to where they live now, and I'll leave them here for a while. One being literally in front of the TV, but it kind of, you don't notice it once you're watching it. We watch TV like, I don't know, like twice a week, like not even that much anyway. But since I've moved them, they are really happy. Like the aerial root is like growing quite fast. I've got new growth, which is amazing. I love that. That is, it looks like an all green stem, but on this side it is very white. So it's very 50-50, because as you can see, the latest, like this one came out 2 weeks after having it, which I'm still impressed it did with no water. But I'm hoping it comes out more variegated, obviously. But that's growing. That has literally like, oh, smoky humidifier telling me it needs water. That has literally pushed out like substantially within the last like 2-3 days. And the same for this one as well. So exactly the same kind of like new growth rate, which is kind of cool. So that one doesn't, yeah, there's like speckles in the stem, but it's not exactly the most variegated stem, but this is probably why this one was free. And obviously we've got the perfect leaf here, but yeah, this one was free to me. And the browning on this hasn't changed. Like that browning was there when I had it, but it hasn't changed. But I did notice the one that I cut, the browning, it started browning where the leaf was bent in transit. So I do think it was like a bruise coming out with the fact that I wasn't giving it enough water. But yeah, I think like all the aerial roots, I tucked them in because they were like wild, and I just think I learned to not stress about it. Once that was happening, it was honestly like really bothering me. I'd wake up in the morning and I'd check it, and I was just becoming obsessed with it. And I was saying to a friend that I've fallen out of love with them, because all my other plants I enjoy, I love watching them grow. If there's something wrong, I don't take it to heart, I fix it, I find out how I can like rehab it. And with these Monsteras, I felt so much pressure to do everything right. Everyone kept referring back to treat it like a normal Monstera, but give it more light. I don't have a normal Monstera, so I didn't know what that meant. And I was treating it really differently. I was giving it like super special care. Like I was like leaving, I do this anyway, but I was leaving like water out, which I usually leave like bottles of water out here, so the kind of chemicals like come out over 24 hours, which apparently that doesn't even work. But I still do that. But I was treating them so differently, and that's what my problem was, because I wasn't, my method in looking after plants works. Like I don't usually, touch wood, have any problems with my plants until I started doing something different. So the lesson learned is not rare plants, but more expensive, more highly desired plants are not for me. I don't like the bother of the stress. I could never have something I spent. If I spent what I was going to spend on a Monstera, like 250 quid, I would be beside myself. Like I'd just spend my time stressing about it and not enjoying it. So I have learned that they're not for me. I am now just enjoying these, and they are just looking so much happier. Obviously they're happy to the point where they're getting new growth, and that's it. That's literally going to be how I treat them from now on. So if anyone has this situation where they are being over the top with their plants, just take a step back and just ask yourself, why am I doing this? Because it's not cool, and your plants aren't going to like the weird you. Plants like normal people. They don't like inspecting the leaves all the time. Just like leave them be. But yeah, fingers crossed they don't go bad on me. I can't handle it anymore, but if they do, then whatever. I can't control that. But yeah, plants need light. Do not bottom water your plants if the roots don't touch the bottom, and just be normal around your plants, because then they will love you back. So hopefully this video was helpful to you. I know I have learned to be normal with new plants, and don't go full on crazy and change up your like plant care routine just because they might be harder to come by. Like, just if it works normally for your normal plants, then obviously tweak them to a certain degree, but don't change everything like I did. And I kind of experimented on them like without knowing, so don't do that. But if you have any problems with your variegated monsteras and you have overcome them or figured out what they did and didn't like and learned your lesson, I'd be keen to hear your kind of experiences with them. So pop them down below and I will get chatting to you there. See you soon. Bye.